We begin tonight with the Trump administration's promise of mass deportations and lack of transparency from local federal officials. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. CBS 8 has been trying to verify the number of immigrants arrested in ICE raids around San Diego County, but Immigration and Customs Enforcement is not releasing any numbers locally.
CBS 8's David Govertson staked out the Otay Mesa Detention Center to see just how many undocumented immigrants were being brought in.
There's no shortage of ICE buses and vans parked at the Otay Mesa Detention Center, a facility that can hold more than 1,000 immigrants. Many of the people arrested in immigration raids around the county are transported here before they can be deported. The facility also is home to the DHS San Diego field office, which so far has declined to release local arrest numbers from recent immigration raids. I also reached out to ICE with no response.
For the first couple of weeks, they were releasing daily numbers of the Trump administration. They were releasing daily numbers. So to me, that raises the question of why they're not doing that anymore.
Deborah Fleischaker is the former acting chief of staff of ICE under the Biden administration. She spoke to us from Washington, D.C.
You can certainly draw an inference that maybe the numbers aren't quite as good for the Trump administration as they were in those first couple of weeks.
Earlier this month, I staked out the loading dock at the Otay Mesa Detention Center during daylight hours for a day and a half. I only saw 8 migrants being admitted, seen sitting here in chairs as privately contracted guards checked their paperwork.
If you are watching and there's not a lot of movement, that's a good indication that there is not a lot of arrests going on.
I also spent about 8 hours staking out the federal building downtown, where there are multiple ICE buses and vans parked. Not only did I not see any migrants, these vehicles hardly ever move.
We are hearing reports that the president is angry that ICE is not meeting its daily arrest numbers.
Naina Gupta is the policy director with the American Immigration Council in Washington, D.C., an immigration advocacy group. She says the Trump administration is now requesting more than $175 billion from Congress to help increase those immigration arrest numbers.
Regardless of the numbers of actual arrests, people are still afraid to leave their homes because they don't know whether they'll be targeted or not. They don't know how many arrests are being made on a day-to-day basis.
David Govertson, CBS 8.
Thanks, David. Today, dozens of people gathered at the San Diego County Administration Center to protest recent decisions made by Elon Musk and President Donald Trump. We talked with some protesters who told us they don't agree with the role that Musk, an unelected multi-billionaire, has in the government. They also oppose the Trump administration's strict immigration policies and repeal of DEI policies. Tonight, an Oceanside police motorcycle officer is recovering from a crash he was involved in after helping as part of an escort motorcade for Vice President J.D. Vance.
The vice president was in town for a wedding this weekend and left San Diego today. The crash happened this morning on State Route 76 near the on-ramp to the northbound Interstate 5. The officer had just finished his duties with the vice president's security team and was heading back to headquarters when he crashed. He was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The other driver involved in that crash stayed on the scene and is cooperating with investigators. Right now, recovery efforts continue for the Navy jet that crashed into San Diego Bay last Wednesday. The 2 crew members on board were able to eject safely before the jet hit the water. Since the crash, the debris field has gotten smaller, and a barge and crane have been brought in to recover the jet. It's a meticulous process that could take 2 weeks and has brought a lot of onlookers to the area.
I can't even imagine how meticulous it is. I mean, when it hits bottom, things are going to happen. There's things in there that they want to secure, I'm sure, for many different reasons. So I think taking their time is probably the best course of action.
The Navy is urging the public not to touch any debris of the jet that may wash up to the shore. If you do come across something, you can email the Navy. The email address is on our website, cbs8.com. A new state law aims to create more safe space around crosswalks by restricting where drivers can park. While it's been in effect for a few weeks now, we learned that enforcement within the city of San Diego has been minimal.
CBS 8's Alex Cheney joins us live from Kearney Mesa with what you need to know before the grace period ends. Alex.
Well, starting on March 1st, if you park too close to an intersection in San Diego, you could get a ticket. The new daylighting law, which went into effect statewide on January 1st, prohibits parking within 20 feet of marked or unmarked crosswalks. The law seeks to improve traffic safety and save lives by making crosswalks more visible for drivers and for pedestrians. But is SDPD enforcing the new law? According to public records obtained by CBS 8, SDPD has only issued one citation for daylighting, and that came back in December of 2024 when the state could begin issuing warnings.
We parked a couple blocks away.
Drivers we talked to today said they want improved public safety, but are concerned about parking.
Parking is so constrained right now. I have mixed feeling about that. Certainly safety is a priority, but there's such limited parking.
The daylighting law applies to all intersections across the state of California. It applies whether there is a red curb and signage or not, forcing drivers to pay extra attention to where they park their car. Some say that's not fair.
You have to let people know. You would have to market, which again, that costs money.
In a statement about the daylighting law, the city of San Diego said it may take some time for San Diegans to get accustomed to it, but together we can make our roadways safer for all users, says Transportation Department Director Bethany Bezick. Right now, there is a 2-month grace period that ends on March 1st, and then enforcement will begin. Tickets will cost $77.50. This is also the current fine for parking at a red curb in San Diego. So if you're wondering just how far 20 feet is, the city of San Diego says it's about a car length and a half, or about this far, pretty far back from the curb. Reporting live in Kearney Mesa, I'm Alex Cheney, CBS 8.
Very good to know. Thanks, Alex. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is set to unveil a series of operational changes he says will help the city save money. Right now, the city is facing a significant budget deficit, which city leaders had hoped to close through the now failed Measure E sales tax proposal. The mayor says these changes come after months of careful review and are designed to save costs and help preserve city services for San Diegans. More details are expected tomorrow.
A beloved diner in Bankers Hill, known for its home-style breakfast and signature French toast, will soon have a new owner. Hobnob Hill was just sold to commercial real estate firm Creative House. Outgoing management says the new owners plan to maintain the restaurant's original recipes and names and is considering minor updates like adding a bakery window.
I don't think they're going to do a lot to it. They really want to keep it the same. I hope they treat it just how I have with, compassion for the employees.
We are told the restaurant's 41 employees will need to reapply for their positions. Hobnob Hill will temporarily close when the new owners officially take over March 3rd. The San Diego Padres started spring training today in Peoria, Arizona. The team also announced it signed former Red Sox pitcher Nick Pivetta to a 4-year, $55 million contract. The Padres will play their first spring training game this Friday, February 21st, against the Seattle Mariners. We're also just a few weeks out from opening day at Petco Park on March 27th. CBS 8's Jake Garriani is in Peoria right now, and we'll have a full report on the Friars' first full squad workout of spring training coming up a little later in sports.